Well, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you are watching this, wherever in the world you are. Welcome, welcome. This is the LifeWave and X39 introductory call. I'm your host, Robin Blank Mascari, and I have the privilege and pleasure to introduce a very, very special company and products that have dramatically changed my life. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about the company, a little bit about its history, the founder, the technology. We have a historic breakthrough in affordable stem cell technology. We're going to hear about that in a few minutes. And after I share a little bit of the history, I'm going to bring on our special guest. We have Dr. Barbara Jennings this evening, a chiropractor out of Fort Collins, who will be with us talking about the science and technology. And then we get to turn the call over to you, and you get to share your testimonials or ask your questions. And we do request that when you do that, you just talk symptoms only. We are not here to diagnose or prescribe. If you have a serious medical condition, we want to make sure you go to your practitioner and get the best support possible. So let's jump in. Okay, LifeWave. In a few weeks, really soon, it's going to be 16 years old. Many of us were privileged to be on the 15-year anniversary cruise last year and got to be up close and personal with corporate staff and with each other and had an amazing time. But 16 years the company's been around, and it actually started in 2004 with the discovery that David made, our founder and inventor, owner, CEO, David Schmidt. He was on a government contract for the Navy SEALs, and he was asked to create something to help them stay awake in their little mini subs. Sometimes Navy SEALs have to be in those mini subs for days on end. And how can they stay alert, awake, aware without caffeine, without chemicals, without toxins? And David came up with this brilliant invention using something called photobiomodulation. And we're going to learn about that in a few minutes. And it's in the form of a patch, and it uses light as a frequency to access body fat, which creates energy. So pretty exciting. That was early on. And then 9/11 happened, and the government had a different focus other than survival equipment. And David was visiting with someone who just, he discovered that the best vehicle to get his science to market was through a network marketing distribution, because these products is truly a science and research company. And he chose network marketing because these products have a story behind them, and they need a voice, and that's us. We are the voice. So I got involved, and I'm going to get into the phases in just a minute. A few years ago, when I was researching stem cell injections for a sore knee, and a friend gave me a call and said, there's a new technology. It's a breakthrough. It's historic. And it activates your own stem cells using light. And I went, how fast can I get it? And so I didn't need any information. He was someone I really trust. And a week, I started using the patches, and we use them. We don't take them because nothing's going in your body. They're totally non-transdermal. So they're this wonderful little, looks like a little round Band-Aid the size of a quarter, and your body heat activates it. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But after a week, the pain in my knee was gone. I had started as a customer. I had no intention of building a business. I'm just one of those people that can't not share. And by February, that was November of 2018, by the end of February, I started, seriously building a business, because I just felt a sense of responsibility to let people know about this technology. And I'm just honored and privileged to say that thousands and thousands of people have had the quality of their lives changed because of my left knee. It's a great story, isn't it? And then all these other wonderful things happened, and we'll talk about some of those when we hear some stories, but lots of things got better. The biological clock has been turned back. And so phase one of the company were what we kind of like to call symptom patches. So the energy patch, then there was a pain patch and a sleep patch. And that sleep patch is used in hospitals in Europe instead of using sleep medications, which is wonderful. And then David is an inventor. He kept inventing new things, and he moved into his phase called the anti-aging phase and came out with 3 different patches that really put the brakes on aging. That's what anti-aging does. Eon, carnosine, and glutathione. We're not going to talk about all the patches. We have many other resources if you want to learn about them. We're going to be focused on phase 3, which is regeneration. And regeneration means that the damaged cells that are not doing so well in our body get regenerated with younger, healthier cells. And guess what that means? We are actually turning back the clock. We're getting younger. Is that wonderful? So our founder and inventor, David Schmidt, is an amazing man. And anyone who's met him, he embodies health, vitality. I mean, I just think of David with his posture. He has exquisite posture. He lives a very healthy lifestyle, and we have many resources where you can learn about that if you'd like. David's an inventor, and to his name, he has over 100 patents and patent pendings. And he has invested millions and millions of dollars into clinical research behind his technology. Currently, there's over 80 clinical studies that are very available to anyone who wants to see the published studies. On lifewave.com, you can find those studies. And this regenerative phase birthed what he calls the accomplishment of his lifetime to date. There's more to come, by the way. He's always working on some new things. But right now we have got a new technology, and we call it X39. That's the name of the product. We call it a stem cell activation patch, but it does so much more. So we love if you would do your own research and research GHK-CU. And we're going to talk about that a little bit this evening with our guest. So let's jump in. I believe I've covered all the bases, and now we get to bring on our special guest for this evening. We have doctors in rotation. That's what I call it. Every week we have a different doctor, and I'm honored and blessed to work with them. And I just want to get this down because this evening we have the privilege and much pleasure of having Dr. Barbara Jennings with us this evening. She's a chiropractor out of Fort Collins, but she's most thrilled about being married with 7 children. How wonderful is that? 5 boys and 2 girls, ages 10 to 27. She actually is practicing virtually in her Fort Collins office, and originally a classical pianist, but she also is into functional medicine, and she's focused as a chiropractor, helping people reverse and recover from severe life-threatening autoimmune conditions that she actually experienced. And now she gets to help other people do that, and she loves to do that. She also teaches NIA, which is an amazing body-mind fitness class, and has been with LifeWave since September of 2019 and has incorporated the product into her practice. So I want to welcome Dr. Barbara Jennings. Let's see you. There she is.
Hey, here I am.
Hi there. I love it. I love it. The purple's gorgeous. All right.
Thank you.
So before we get into the technology, Dr. Barbara, why did you choose, as a chiropractor, as a doctor, a healthcare practitioner, why did you choose to get involved with LifeWave?
Really from my own personal experience. Michelle Neal's my friend, introduced me, or she brought me some patches just over a year ago, about 13 months ago, and told me about them. And she mentioned the GHK copper peptide, and I'd heard of that before. And of course, stem cells is a big buzz, and there's a huge future in the world of healing. And so I was intrigued and decided to try them. And, you know, for myself, I practice what I preach, and I'm pretty healthy now. I don't have chronic pain. You know, I'm pretty healthy. And so I wasn't sure if I would notice any difference, but within 5 days, I did. I had noticeably more energy, better sense of well-being. I was sleeping better, and I thought, well, if if I can feel this much better in 5 days, starting from a pretty healthy place, then I'm really curious to see what it can do for some of my patients or other family members and friends. So I just started mentioning these patches to some of my patients who I thought really could benefit, and everybody's interested. I mean, everybody I mentioned this to is like, oh yeah, I'd like to try that. So, uh, I sold them a few that I had in my office, or they ordered their own, and I just started really quickly. I mean, within days of these people trying things, seeing results. And, usually, the fastest results we see are usually people that have pain. And so chronic low back pain, chronic knee pain, chronic shoulder pain, headaches. I just started seeing awesome results in a short time that really made me excited. And I really started seeing the potential expand before my eyes as each one of my patients started trying them. So I wasn't looking for a new business to do, but as a doctor, I'm here because I want to help people feel better. I want to help people feel good so they can live their best life. And so knowing what these could do for people, you just can't keep my mouth shut.
I can totally relate.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
shifted for me from having a great experience like you did to feeling this sense of responsibility that people need to know about this technology, because it
Yes.
is truly a historic breakthrough. So I'd love it if you could explain about the technology of photobiomodulation, and then we'll move in and talk about the star of the show.
Sure. So photobiomodulation, I always start out telling people, because you say that long word and eyes glaze over. And so I just say, look, it's really 3 words in one, right? There's photo, which is light, bio for biology or your body, and modulation, which means change. So it means changing your body with light. And people are like, what? And until the common examples that we use in LifeWave with this technology that everybody can understand is sunlight, right? Sunlight. Everybody knows you need to go outside to get vitamin D, right? Well, there's no vitamin D in the sun, but when a frequency of the sunlight contacts your skin, it causes a biochemical change. And vitamin C is then synthesized in your skin, and then it's in your circulation. Same thing with a suntan, right? Sunlight hits your skin, and your skin will make melanin, and you get a suntan. So as human beings, we are very sensitive and affected by light. Different frequencies of light, having enough light, having too much light. We're very light sensitive people. So, I also think it's interesting to teach people that when the sun rises, we have more blue light, and blue light, when it hits your eyes, activates your waking up chemistry, wake up hormones and neurotransmitters. And at sunset, at dusk, that angle and type of sunlight we get has more infrared light. And that red light activates our melatonin, and our slow down chemistry starts getting us ready for bedtime. So we know, we're really easily affected by light. And David Schmidt is the genius who had the idea of being able to identify specific light frequencies and positive, desirable effects it could have on our skin, and then how to actually put them in a very affordable, usable, easy to use little patch like a Band-Aid that anybody can use.
Wonderful. So compliance is much higher, but you do such a beautiful job. I love learning from you. It's such a great
Thank you.
explanation of photobiomodulation when you break it up into small pieces. It totally makes sense. So we have this little patch that creates a biochemical change with light, and let's introduce X39. It's the 39th patch. It doesn't mean that there are 39 available, but there are 30. It was called X39, and the name stuck. Usually David would give it another name, but people loved the X39. They fell in love with it. So that's what it is. So we'd love you to share with people, why is this patch something so special, and why did this one product cause the company to triple in size in sales from 2018 to 2019? What happened? What is it?
Right. Well, David Schmidt was able to identify a light frequency that that activates or causes our bodies to produce more of a copper peptide called GHK and GHK copper peptide. And that in and of itself is profound in the many, many things it can do in our bodies, from, from anti-aging benefits. If you Google GHK copper peptide, you're going to find a bunch of topical skin products. So we know it helps with skin and hair. What people don't know, it also is involved in gene expression. So over 4,000 different genes can be modified or expressed or turned on or turned off. Obviously, we want good genes turned on and unhealthy genes turned off. And that can improve your health across the board in many, many ways, 4,000 ways. So one of the awesome findings of this technology of David Schmidt is that when our bodies then have elevated copper peptide, it then it turns around and triggers activation of our body's stem cell production. So we get two benefits. We get all the benefits of the copper peptide, and we get all the many, many benefits of having more stem cells. And of course, stem cells, for people who don't know, they're baby cells, all right? They haven't even been assigned a type of tissue to become yet. They can become almost any kind of tissue we need. And they're at your body's whim. I believe our bodies are the best doctor. And your body knows what's going well and what's not. Your body knows where you have an injury, knows where it's trying to heal, and it will send stem cells to those places of inflammation and damage. And those stem cells can go become those new cells, repair and regenerate whatever part of your body needs it. And that's why we see recovery time from a surgery or from an injury, a wound, is so much faster. I mean, it's half the time, a third the time of what doctors typically would expect to see. And that's in many different ages. I mean, I've used these on my 10-year-old daughter's friend who cut himself badly with a pocket knife. He healed much faster than the doctor thought he would, and he's 10. I've used them with an 86-year-old patient who had a fracture in his spine, a compression fracture, which was terribly painful. And his doctor told him he would need to be on pain medications and prednisone for 6 months, and he would take at least 6 months or longer to heal. And he got the X39 patches 2 months into his healing process, maybe 3. But 6 weeks after he started using them, well, within a month he was off the meds, and shortly after that he was shoveling snow.
Love it.
Oh,
So you said something very interesting that I'd love you to expound on a bit, because we expect young people to heal fast and we expect older people to not heal fast. So could you explain the difference and why this is so important to have new, younger stem cells?
right. Well, we're born with a lot of stem cells, and children recover quickly. They're constantly growing, so they need a lot of stem cells, but their availability of a large population of stem cells in their bodies allows them to heal quickly too. And as we age, those decline. We use them up. We make fewer and fewer of them. So by about age 60, we know that we only have 10 to 15% left of what we used to.
Oh dear.
So at 10% of stem cells, you're going to have slower healing, slower repair.
Okay. So the older
So,
we get, the faster
yeah,
we age, the slower we heal. And so having more stem cells can make a huge difference,
right,
especially as we age.
right. So we age slower, right? We have an increased ability to repair and regenerate while we sleep, right? So the normal wear and tear that accumulates over time, we're able to keep up with that at a much better rate than your neighbor who's not using X39, but should. Um, so yes, the anti-aging benefits are huge. And then if an older person has a surgery or a broken bone or an injury, we find consistently that people heal much, much faster.
Beautiful. So you invited and I invited everyone to research GHK copper peptide. And
Yes.
we do talk at LifeWave about many of the benefits, but we only talk about the ones that we have clinical proof for. And there's many, many, many more. So that's why it's wonderful for everyone to do their own research and find out. And if you're a practitioner, you can go to pubmed.gov. Or if you're used to going to pubmed.gov, go there and you'll find all kinds of things, because it's changing all the time. And David Schmidt said that, it wasn't that long ago that photobiomodulation was snake oil, and now it's an accepted science. We have thousands of studies, so it's wonderful. So let's open up to our guests on the line here today. Yeah, that was really wonderful, Barbara. Dr. Barbara, I love learning from you. And we do have a testimonial from Dr. Sarah and Marvin this evening. And if you do want to share a testimonial or ask a question, put it in the chat section and we'll get to you if we have time. So we have Sarah and Marvin that should be available to, your phone is, okay, there you go. You're ready. Hi.
Hi, it's good to see you again, Robin.
No, well, you can see me, I can't see you.
Oh,
Darn.
that's frustrating. I know. We're just so beautiful here. We're on X39, and I couldn't help but share it with my brother, who's 73 years old and has had congenital heart condition his whole life, and has had 3 open heart surgeries trying to deal with it. Has been put on a pacemaker and was simply getting ready to die. He was so weak that he couldn't even get his financial matters in order. So he started taking the X39. That's all he's been taking. And after one day, he was back in his garage, punching his punching bag and doing his karate.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was like everything in his body woke up, and he is absolutely ecstatic about being able to move and have energy and get back to, because he's a fighter. He's been a fighter all his life, physically as well as mentally and emotionally, with all this health problems. So he is back to his old self, And I am thrilled to have shared this with him, and he's so thankful.
Mm. Marvin, that was amazing. I mean, if we can change one person's life and improve the quality of their life, what's that worth to us? That's why we need lots of voices to share the good news. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, we've got Wendy who's got a question. She goes, "Hi, Dr. Barbara. What would you suggest for a painful, aggravated nerve that goes down the back of the leg? And are you taking new patients?"
Well, if you're around in driving distance of Fort Collins, I could take a new patient. So I'm familiar with that condition. So two things. Number one, as far as LifeWave patches are concerned, you'd probably want to utilize the ice wave for pain and find the best locations for that, right? Put the tan one probably on your low back where that pain is the worst, and the white one may be down below where the pain stops on your leg. Second, you need to find a good chiropractor and get your pelvis adjusted.
Ah, there you go. Thank you for that.
Yep.
And Dr. Thida asks, are there circumstances which may require using more than one X39 at a time?
You know, I don't think it's necessary. I know that some people have, especially if they have a large incision. So the times I know when people have done that is if they've had maybe a wound or injury on two different legs, and you can put one on each leg. So that's certainly, you're not going to hurt yourself by doing that. The question is, do you really need to? So I know some people will put one on either end of a surgical incision for their recovery process. So you can certainly do that. You can also just put them on the recommended places. The two places that are recommended are excellent for being able to address your body systemically. And in doing that, you trust that your body knows what to do with those stem cells. Believe me, they do. I mean, it does. Your body will know where to send those stem cells. So I would say you can, but I don't know that it's really necessary.
That's really good to hear. I think some people think if one is good, more is better. And the beauty of the stem cells, like you just said, is they have this innate wisdom. They're going to go where they're needed. And when I had a big long incision back in June, I only put one on there, and the orthopedic surgeon said, "You healed really fast, faster than most." He goes, "I don't think you're even going to be able to see a scar there." And it was pretty amazing. Okay.
And Robin, did you put that on your knee or near your knee, or did you put it on one of the two locations?
I put it right on top of the incision, with a few other patches too.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got rid of my walker after a total knee replacement in 3 weeks. And the other knee, it was very impressive, and off my meds too. And the other knee, I had to get kicked out of physical therapy after a year, and I wasn't even done. So, and I was on narcotics for 4 months. So this was a totally different experience with a lot more stem cells and that GHK busy at work. Loved it. Okay.
It's a game changer.
Oh my gosh. I'm in tears of gratitude for sure. And many people know Gregory's story. We'll talk about that another time. So I think Nancy had a question. She says, can you talk about detoxing with the patches?
Detoxing, patches plural. Well, detoxing
with the patch is what they said.
With X39.
It just says, can you talk about detoxing with the patch?
Okay. I can talk about detoxing for about 50 hours nonstop if you let me. So detoxing is a very complicated process and is a very long pathway in your body. It has many many gates to go through, right? A toxin. A toxin is usually stored in or on a cell. Majority of toxins are attracted to fat, so they'll be stuck on an oily cell membrane. Fat tissue, adipose tissue, is a great harbor of toxins. So with X39, X39 is really going to help just about every part of your body work better. It's going to enable the best gene expression, right? Optimal gene expression. And I think that's one of the strongest arguments for using X39 consistently over time, because these benefits build on each other. And, it's like stair stepping. So the more genes that can be turned off that are harmful or causing premature aging or other problems, the more healthy genes that can be turned on to be expressed, the better your ability to repair, yes, but also to detox, right? Now, are there specific detoxing pathways, that the X39 is working on directly? I don't know, other than what I've already mentioned, right? If you want to get into detoxing, you want to use the glutathione patch, and I would use both at the same time.
Love it. Love it. Well, I have some good news for you, Dr. Barbara. You ready for this? Wendy.
Yeah.
Wendy did what you said with the Ice Wave patch. And she said, wow, Ice Wave on each end of the leg cut the pain 50% already. Thank you.
Awesome. Very good.
Don't we love that? Don't we love that?
Good job, Wendy.
Let's see if there's any other burning questions here. Mary Jo asked me, what patches did I use? Why don't you reach out to me, Mary Jo, on Facebook, and I'll have a conversation with you, and we'll visit about that. But do know that the X39 is foundational for and accelerates the healing for everything. And there's inflammation when you have a procedure, so the Eon's good for that. Carnosine's good to repair the cells, and Ice Wave, of course, for pain. So that's basically what I used. And I just had an amazing, miraculous recovery, as did my husband, from a serious illness. So we are living proof of these patches. So I think we're going to complete our call, because I don't see any other questions for now. Let's see. I think that's it for now. But Dr. Barbara, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That was wonderful. I really, there's a new message here. Let's see if we can sneak one in. Okay. You are awesome, Dr. Barbara. Thank you for being here and offering your depth of wisdom. Well, isn't that a wonderful way to end the call? So I want to
thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Barbara, for sharing your wisdom with us. It was always a pleasure and a joy to learn from you and with you. And thank you all for joining us this evening. And Marvin, you tell your brother, keep cheering him on, and that we're with him. Okay. That's wonderful that you shared that story. So we will complete our call this evening.
One second. I see an important question right there.
Where?
Contraindications.
Oh, that one snuck in there.
I don't know where it came. It just popped up for me. So contraindications with X39, there are a couple. One is if you're a person on immunosuppressive drugs, such as an organ transplant recipient, and that's because there's with increased stem cells and the GHK copper peptide, you have an improved immune system. And it's just for those people who need to suppress their immune system, and that's the reason. They're not tested on pregnant women. And I don't have firsthand experience or knowledge with this, but I understand that it's not recommended to use the X39 during chemotherapy treatments. And awesome to use as soon as you're finished with it, but not during. So those are the only I'm aware of.
Yeah. And since nothing is going in the body, there's nothing to counteract and have problems with. And And Carolyn, we're going to let you sneak in here and then we're going to say goodbye. Is it okay to use X39 if you have a pacemaker?
Yes.
They
It
actually
is.
tested pacemakers and it is safe. It is safe. So
Yes. In fact, my 85-year-old father upstairs has a pacemaker and he's wearing them.
and how's he
So
doing?
I put him on my own dad.
That
Yeah.
says a lot. That's wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for being with us this evening. Really appreciate you. Thank you in the Facebook audience. Thank you on the replay. You can go to liveyoungeryoutube.com and you can see this tomorrow. You can have the link and share it with people if you like. And if you're a guest here this evening, I hope you enjoyed the little brief overview of the company and our technology, and get back to the person that invited you and get started. We have many wonderful ways to get started. We have a wonderful customer program, and we always need voices to share the great news because we're still a secret. So if you're the kind of person that likes to share, there's an income opportunity also, that we are thrilled to have anyone get the benefits from what we have. So thank you everyone and good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.